They thought I'd stay broken, but they didn't know what patience can do to a man like me. Families have a way of wounding you with words they'd never say to strangers. And mine. They've been cutting me since childhood. But nothing, not the comparisons, not the silence, not the quiet disappointment in my father's eyes, prepared me for the moment he raised that glass at the reunion and carved my name out of his pride like it never belonged there. Everyone laughed. Everyone clapped. Except me. I just stood there, smiling like it didn't hurt, even though something inside me cracked wide open. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Quietly, the kind of break that doesn't bleed, it builds. People think anger comes fast. But real revenge? It starts slow. It starts the moment a man realizes he's done being who they told him he was. My name is Malik Turner. And this is how I got my revenge. They say humiliation hits fast, but for me, it arrived slow, like heat rising under my skin until I felt my soul sweating. The reunion smelled like barbecue smoke, cheap cologne, and the kind of pride only my father carried around like an oversized suit he never washed. He lived for these moments, standing in front of a crowd, chest puffed out, pretending he'd built an empire instead of just a loud reputation. I stood near the back, plate in hand, already invisible before things even started. He lifted his glass. "A toast," he said, smiling that smile that never reached his eyes. "To my children, every one of them making me proud." People clapped. I nodded, polite, already knowing where this was about to go. Then he exhaled through his teeth like he was delivering a punchline. "Well, everyone except the loser." Laughter spilled across the tables like someone had knocked over a bowl of marbles. Rolling, bouncing, out of control. I didn't move. My face stayed still, the same steady mask I'd perfected growing up in this family. But inside, a quiet fire lit itself. Slow. Controlled. Dangerous in a way no one recognized. My cousin Andre whispered behind me, "Damn, he really said that out loud." The shock in his voice told me everything, they didn't expect it. But I did. I'd always expected less from my father. Always less, except in moments where he delivered even lower. My siblings shifted awkwardly. No one defended me. No one said a damn thing. That kind of silence is louder than a slap. My father smirked, satisfied. He sat down like he'd accomplished something historic. That was the moment I stopped being his son and started being something else. Something sharper. Something calculating. I set my untouched plate on the table and walked outside, each step like I was leaving pieces of my old self behind. The air hit my face cool and honest. And for the first time in my life, I whispered, "This time, I'm not letting it go." My phone buzzed in my pocket, a voicemail from my father I had forgotten existed. The road home stretched out like a long scar across the night. Streetlights flickered, casting shadows that danced across my windshield, almost mocking me. My chest felt tight, not from sadness, not even anger, but from recognition. It was like the reunion scene unlocked a memory I'd been avoiding for years. On the drive, I hit play on that forgotten voicemail. His voice crackled through the speaker, rough and careless. "You need to stop relying on everyone else. You're a burden, Malik. One day you'll understand that." I pulled over. The words didn't break me, they aligned something inside me. Like puzzle pieces clicking into place, forming a picture of a man who'd been feeding me poison my entire life while calling it guidance. My fingers tightened around the steering wheel. I thought of every time he praised my siblings in front of me. Every time he told me to man up instead of understanding my silence. Every report card he ignored. Every win he pretended I never had. He didn't start disrespecting me at the reunion. He just stopped hiding it. Memories hit me like waves. Him cheering loudest when my brother scored touchdowns. Him bragging about my sister's scholarship. Him telling people, yeah, Malik's still figuring it out, even when I wasn't. And there I'd been, trying to earn approval from a man who only valued children he could brag about. The shame should have drowned me. But it didn't. Instead, something shifted. Not bitterness, direction. Pain has a strange way of sharpening the mind when you stop trying to escape it. I put the car back into drive, but I wasn't heading home anymore. I was heading toward clarity. And clarity? It's the birthplace of revenge. As I parked outside my apartment, I whispered, what if I stop trying to be his son, and start becoming my own man? I spread out a notebook on the kitchen table, blank pages staring at me like a challenge. Most people think revenge starts with fury, but mine started with a pen. I wrote 3 words at the top. Rebuild. Retrain. Rise. Not for them. For me. For years, I'd been working a warehouse job, honest work, but not my passion. On the side, I'd been building small software tools, apps barely anyone cared about. My family laughed when they heard about it. Coding? That's not real work. You still chasing pipe dreams? You're too old to be experimenting. But that night, I opened my laptop anyway. I checked my email. A subject line blinked, app licensing proposal. My heart stuttered. A small tech company wanted to license one of my tools, the scheduling software I built quietly at night while everyone slept on me. They offered real money. Real potential. I leaned back in my chair and let out a slow breath. This wasn't luck. This was timing. I spent the next hours drafting improvements, reading contracts, sketching business goals. I worked until the sun flirted with the horizon. My father's voice echoed again. Loser. I whispered back, not for long. I hit send on my proposal. For the first time, the future wasn't a fog. It was lines. Shapes. Structure. A blueprint. The company replied at 7:12 a.m. We want to move fast. Call us today. A steady flame lit inside me. As I picked up my phone to dial, I thought, he'll regret ever teaching me to stay quiet. When people underestimate you, you get to work in the shadows. And shadows? They're where masterpieces are built. Within 2 weeks, the licensing deal was signed. My bank account, usually one argument away from overdraft, suddenly had breathing room. Real breathing room. I upgraded my wardrobe slowly. New haircut, clean sneakers, shirts that actually fit my shoulders. Nothing loud. But noticeable. I showed up to family dinner wearing confidence like cologne. My siblings eyed me differently. Not with pity, with curiosity. My older brother, Jamal, the golden boy athlete turned sales manager, pulled me aside as people grabbed dessert. Ayo. Malik, he said quietly, you doing something new? You look different. I shrugged. Just working. He nodded, but his eyes held something I'd never seen before, respect tinged with unease. Because change threatens people who benefit from your stagnation. Later that night, I returned to my apartment and pulled out schematics for a new project, a community scheduling platform. Something bigger. Something scalable. Each click of the keyboard felt like a step toward a life none of them imagined for me. I was becoming someone. They didn't need to know who yet. A local community center emailed me, asking if I'd speak at an entrepreneurship event after hearing about my licensed tool. People were noticing. As I prepared my presentation, a thought struck me, if strangers value me, why doesn't my own father? A week later, my sister Naomi texted me out of nowhere. Need to talk. Just us. We met at a small cafe. She looked nervous. I heard what Dad said at the reunion, she said, stirring her coffee so hard it splashed. I didn't say anything, and I should have. I'm sorry. I shrugged. I'm used to it. She shook her head. You shouldn't be. Then she dropped her voice. Dad's not doing as well as he pretends. He's been losing clients. And he's been harsh on all of us. Not just you. That surprised me. Naomi always seemed like his pride and joy. His perfect daughter. But her eyes had the same tiredness mine carried. She continued, he's been slipping. He drinks more. He yells more. He expects us to be perfect so he can feel like he didn't fail. Her words cracked something open in me, a perspective I never allowed myself to consider. His disrespect wasn't about me. It was about his own insecurities. But understanding doesn't erase damage. I rubbed my jaw. That doesn't excuse what he did. No, she said, but it explains why he's unraveling. She hesitated before adding, I think he's scared of being irrelevant. The irony punched me in the chest. A man who called me a loser, afraid of losing himself. Naomi handed me an envelope. His business debt. I thought you should see this. No one else knows. I stared at the numbers. They were drowning him. When I looked up, Naomi whispered, Malik, he's not the king he pretends to be. That envelope unlocked a buried hallway of truth. I dug deeper. Old family files. Receipts. Emails. Documents my father kept hidden. And then I found it, the scholarship letter from when I was 16. I remembered winning a scholarship for my early coding project. I remembered my father telling everyone he helped me get it. But the papers said otherwise. He had redirected half the scholarship funds into an administrative account, with his name on it. My stomach twisted. He stole from me, from my future, to inflate his own image. The rage didn't come hot. It came cold. Sharp. Surgical. This wasn't just emotional neglect. This was theft, of opportunities, pride, years of confidence I never got to build. And then another discovery. Emails between him and colleagues showed he'd been bragging about his successful children, but every time my name came up, he dismissed me as still searching for direction. He'd been using me as the family scapegoat for years. I sat at my desk, breathing slow, steady. This wasn't about revenge anymore. This was about reclaiming everything he stole, without raising my voice. One final email revealed his business was collapsing, and he needed a tech partnership to stay afloat. A partnership that required exactly the kind of software skills I now offered. I leaned back and whispered, so now, he needs me. The call came on a Thursday afternoon. A community board that had seen my project presentation wanted me for a citywide tech initiative, a partnership that would gain major publicity. Funny thing. My father needed that exact initiative to boost his failing business reputation. We were suddenly orbiting the same opportunity. And my orbit was rising. His was burning out. The board member said, we're also evaluating a proposal from your father's firm, but honestly, your skill set is more relevant. More relevant. 2 words my father never associated with me. After the call, I sat still, letting the twist settle. I held the key to the very platform he needed to save face. I was no longer the disappointment. I was the gatekeeper. I checked my email, and saw his name pop up. Subject, can we meet? I didn't respond. Power tastes strange the first time you feel it, not sweet, not bitter. Just, clean. The board requested a joint meeting between me and my father. They thought we were a team. I whispered, let him come to me. He showed up at my apartment door just after dusk, wearing a suit that didn't fit right anymore, shoulders slumped, confidence leaking out of him like air from a punctured tire. Malik, he said softly. I'd never heard his voice so small. I let him stand there a full minute before stepping aside. He sat at my table, the same table where I'd written my blueprint, and rubbed his hands together like he was trying to warm them. I need your help, he finally said. That sentence should have healed me. It didn't. It just proved what I already knew, he only valued what he could use. What exactly do you think I owe you? I asked. He swallowed. Hard. His facade cracked. I know I've been hard on you. Hard on me. That was his version of an apology. He continued, the board meeting is important. My business needs this. And your name, your project, it gives us credibility. There it was. He didn't want reconciliation. He wanted rescue. I leaned back, watching him squirm. For the first time, he looked like the child, not me. His eyes glistened. Not from sorrow. From fear. He thought he was about to lose everything. I said, if you want my help, you're going to have to hear the truth first. The truth was a blade, and I wielded it without anger. You stole my scholarship money, I began. He froze. You used me as the family scapegoat. You humiliated me. Lied about me. Tried to break me. His jaw clenched. That's not. Don't, I interrupted. You don't get to rewrite the story. He looked down. For once, he had no words. Here's what will happen, I said calmly. I'll attend the meeting. But not for you, for the community project. And not as your partner. His head snapped up. You'll sign a document removing your name from any claim to my software. Forever. You'll acknowledge publicly that the project is mine. And you'll stop using me as your cautionary tale. His face reddened with shame and something else, realization. This was the price of respect. He tried one last plea. Malik, I'm still your father. And I'm still the son you called a loser. Silence. Heavy. Irreversible. He signed. Not because he respected me. But because he needed me. And sometimes. That's enough. As he left, he whispered, I never thought you'd become this strong. I replied, you never bothered to look. The meeting was a turning point. The board listened to my presentation with leaning forward attention. My father sat in the back, quiet, hands folded, eyes lowered. For the first time, he wasn't the center of the room. I was. My software was approved. My leadership was recognized. My future was cemented. Afterward, some board members shook my father's hand out of politeness, but their real interest was me, my work, my vision, my value. My siblings began texting me congratulations. Naomi sent hearts. Even Jamal called, saying, Bro, you did it. But the victory wasn't loud. It wasn't a parade. It was quiet. Internal. A reclamation. My father approached me outside, hands in his pockets, looking smaller than I'd ever seen him. Malik. I'm proud of you, he said softly. I nodded, but didn't respond. Some sentences don't need answers. Respect isn't earned by apologies. It's earned by transformation. And I had transformed, not into what he wanted, but into what I always had the potential to be. In the following weeks, my project grew. Opportunities expanded. People who once doubted me now sought advice. The narrative shifted, quietly, inevitably. My father no longer introduced me as the one still figuring things out. He introduced me as my son, the tech developer. But the title didn't matter. What mattered was the truth. I didn't destroy him. I didn't humiliate him back. I didn't raise my voice. I simply let his words unravel themselves. And in the silence that followed, I rose. If this story touched you, share it, someone out there needs this kind of strength today.